Is YouTube streaming as effective as Twitch streaming? I think we have to look at the pros and the cons to both platforms because they're very different and what they do for you as a streamer and a DJ is very different. So starting with the YouTube. On YouTube, streaming as a DJ has its own set of challenges because number one, you got to deal with the copyright issues. You deal with, there's like a cap right now of like 2 hours is the most you can stream and then it gets cut off. I know this not because I stream on there, but because I talked to some of my friends who stream on there, Brady Beats and the Token Girl. Shout out to them. So there's two things that make it hard. The third thing is what's your goal as a DJ who's streaming? Because if your goal is to make money, it's going to be really challenging to make money on YouTube because you can't get monetized just by playing music. On Twitch, you have a different experience. As soon as you're affiliate, you can make money. The flip side of that, though, is that on YouTube, there's an actual algorithm, unlike Twitch. So on YouTube, if you live stream your DJ sets and then you title it with very searchable stuff that has like the genre in it and in your description, you talk about the different artists that you play, you have the potential to get like a lot of people to see you. The point is, if your goal is like you want to get a lot of eyes on you, you want to get a lot of views, you want to have a lot of reach, you want to have a lot of people coming back to your channel, building your brand, that kind of thing, I think YouTube is great. But like I said, you can't monetize. It's really hard to get into the partner program if all you do is DJ because you can't have channel memberships. Like on Twitch, you can have subscriptions and people can tip you in bits and all that stuff. You don't get that on YouTube unless you're a partner. And it's very hard to get partnered unless you're a huge DJ like James Hype, who can, play other people's music and he's like whitelisted. I am team Twitch. For as many problems as Twitch may have, I still believe this is the best place for DJs. First, we have a question in the chat from Sir Snuffle who says, I've always wondered about how copyright worked in general. Like, how do I know what I can play? Here's something that you should know. If you opt into the DJ program on Twitch, you don't have to worry about copyright as much because you're paying for music licensing. On YouTube, it's completely different. Here's the thing, like there's content ID, and that just means that if you play another person's music and it gets content ID'd, it's a good thing because ad revenue money from YouTube goes to that artist or to the rights holder of the music, right? Like we want to support artists. Also, there's no way to check which songs will get you a copyright strike on YouTube. So it makes it a little bit more tricky. When you're live streaming though, I think you get away with a lot more. It's just when you're done live streaming, then the VOD will trigger copyright flags and things like that. If you don't want to worry about copyright, you do Mixcloud or you do Twitch. This is one of my favorite comments right here. Fabulos Music World let me know that my video was a lot of gibberish bullshit. So that was my response. I just laughed at it because a lot of what comes out of my mouth is definitely gibberish bullshit. All right, next question. Do you know, this is from my brother from another mother. Do you know how to make a custom layout on Twitch? Bordered, themed cameras and chat boxes. My first initial thought is that, yeah, you can always find free overlays even on sites like Owned Pro, Nerd or Die, even like through Streamlabs and Stream Elements. But I'm going to say what I have seen, a trend that I'm seeing more and more of for the DJs is like a more minimalistic overlay. And let me know in the chat what you guys think about overlays. Do you prefer like less stuff on the screen? Do you prefer, just the streamer and the DJ gear? What I've done both. So sometimes my overlay would be like really busy and I had a lot of things going on, but I feel like it takes away, it makes it harder for people to concentrate. Like we don't need help with that, right? So I've kind of like pared mine down a little bit, and only when I'm doing like certain things will I have more stuff going on. Happy Place Traveler, hello. How do you copyright your own work, formally and informally? This is a really good question. Copyright protection exists automatically from the moment an original work is fixed in a tangible form. To gain full legal benefits, such as the ability to sue for infringement, you should formally register your work with the U.S. Copyright Office by creating an account, submitting an online application, and of course, paying a fee. Can you discuss about an easy setup and what gear to get in order to get started that won't break the bank? I have some gear recommendations. I also have a live stream gear list that I just updated. And if you click on the links, it will take you to places where you can purchase these things. And I put this gear guide in the chat in case you didn't get it. It's the most basic setup that you could have as a streaming DJ. Let's move on. This is from David Schwartz, 2485. Question for you. Is the music playing on speakers and being recorded into OBS or direct into OBS? And if so, how do you know what the quality is if it's not playing through the speakers? I mix in my headphones. I do have speakers set up in the front here of my setup, but I never have it on too loud because I don't want the mic to pick it up. But all of your music is being routed directly into OBS. You have full control over your audio quality and your levels of audio in OBS. Like for instance, so here's my OBS and these are the audio levels right here, so you can adjust everything. I think he's asking, how do you guarantee the audio quality is good? To which I say, record yourself a little and listen to it, then make adjustments. Yes, that is what I tried to get the boot campers to do, which very few of them did. But it is so important because that is how you're going to actually know if your music is playing at the correct level and your mic is ducking at the right time and all that stuff. And Fathom says, also look up audio settings for streaming music on YouTube. There are several guides. Like there's so many intricacies to OBS and to streaming. Just getting it dialed in is like, it takes some time. This next one is from Magic Javi 3, which is how do you set up OBS to connect to stream on TikTok? I do know the answer to this. In order to stream on TikTok, if you want to use OBS, you would need a stream key. And it's very hard to get one of those these days, I hear. Or you could work with like an agency. But if you use TikTok Studio, that's what you would use in order to go live, which I think is very similar to OBS or any of the others like Meld or Streamlabs OBS. This is a video called How is TikTok Live Studio in 2026? So if you're interested in checking out how to stream on TikTok, and this is from Ronnie Smith. Shout out, Ronnie. Okay, which controller do you recommend? Buying anything related to Tractor seems like a crazy move until they jump their latest hurdle. I am assuming that you're a new DJ, and what I recommend if you're new and you want to start DJing is just start with something very basic and very simple, like for instance the DDJ FLX2. I would at least get the Flex 2, and I know because I just used it in my last video, it's like $189. You're not going to find your forever controller on your first time. I think you're going to grow into whatever you use. People will all argue forever about which is the best software. I actually really like Algorithms DJ Pro, and you can use that with the Flex. This is from Corrupt Souls, who says, I've seen a DJ on Twitch with just the Flex 4, and he gets enough viewers to be partnered soon, right? That's like a basic entry-level controller. And then I've seen people with your setup or 10K in gear, and they get one viewer. This is a reality of Twitch, because just because you have the gear and just because you're a great DJ does not ensure that you're going to have a lot of people. It's a very, very grassroots. You are starting from the bottom. You're building your community one stream at a time, and it doesn't matter what you use. It doesn't matter if you're the best DJ in the world. You have to learn a new skill set to DJ on Twitch, which is how to be a host and how to entertain and how to think about DJing in a different way. DJing and streaming is about luck of the draw. I mean, I think there are things you can do to set yourself up for success a little bit more. Like I think the time and day that you stream can help. I do also think it's who you know. Just like any industry or any group or anything, it is who you know and how you make connections with other people and how you collab with other people and how you vibe with other people. And honestly, to grow on Twitch, you spend a little bit of time actually streaming and then a whole lot of time being in and on the platform and in other people's streams and in other people's discords. And that's how people get to know you and get to learn who you are and what you're about and will come to see your streams. And then, you raid people at or about the same level and then they raid you back. And it's like you just keep building and building and building like that. And yeah, Mike says you have to build a connection, vibe, and community to grow, and that's regardless of skill. Ian says, make friends with other people's communities. You can't just stream. You got to put in work making connections between communities. Very, very true. Anselou says, it's like poker. Luck is huge, but there's things you can do to give yourself an edge. Yes, agreed. Javi says, question for people in the chat that are currently DJing and such. What's the most used and easier to learn to use DJ software? And Javi, I'm going to say they're all pretty similar and people kind of like what they like. So you might have to try a couple of different ones out. Like if you don't like Serato, tell us what you don't like about it. Relay says, I DJ on Twitch so Dan Clancy will like me. My ex-boyfriend, Dan Clancy, somebody asked me on my YouTube comments, is it true that Dan Clancy is really your ex-boyfriend? And I was like, oh God, no. So this one, next question, comment is from AOK to King. My TikTok live streams and YouTube shorts together feel like it has more potential of growth than me streaming, editing, and networking on Twitch. Okay, again, this goes back to what is your goal? What are you doing it for? Because I think if you're on TikTok and YouTube and you're getting a lot of views and you're getting a lot of exposure, that's great. But also, that's like vanity metrics. Like, oh, look how many people have seen this or liked it. It's like that doesn't really do a whole lot for you unless you can translate that into getting more gigs or getting better gigs or using that information in your EPK or trying to get brand deals or things like that. The streaming, it's in itself feels like really slow growth, but you build some really, really good like friendships and relationships and deep understanding of the skills that are involved with DJing and streaming and all of the things that have to go along with it. So there's definitely a benefit that I think to streaming as well. You just have to figure out what it is that you want.